can offer that. The person has to be willing. And I may go through 100 people until someone says, I am going to make the change now. And again, it's life coaching. So it's not like I'm going to the psychological
Right.
theory or anything like that. And then just how do I connect? Just being who I am. Like I
Mhm.
can't be a phony. It was so funny because before I was going to come on here, I wear my hair natural, and that stuff was all over my head, all it was like I couldn't even smooth it down. So I wet it and put it in a ponytail. And so the person that I want to connect with is the one that says, yeah, I may be on live radio. I could be all jushed up. But you know what? My hair's in a ponytail because this is life. This is who I am. And,
Absolutely.
and that's how I connect. Like my nickname is Shug,
Oh,
SUG.
I saw that. Yes, sure.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes. And it stood for struggling under grace until my girlfriend, thank God for my circle of friends. She was like, Shook. She called me up with somebody. She was like, Shook. I was like, hello. She said, look, that name needs to be changed right now to stop struggling. And, she says, you can't struggle forever. So
Mhm.
now it stands for striving under grace.
Nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
But
Wow.
my audience is whoever is unafraid to say, I'm just tired. I'm not going to go into 2023 without the tools. Now, I teach tools more so than I'm not going to give you a program and you're gone. It's
Mhm.
about teaching you tools
Mhm.
and giving you resources and skills so you can get through life, no matter whether it's professional or personal.
All right.
It's about implementing tools and steps and having you to frame out a plan that's going to be conducive to your life, being honest, being able to set barriers, telling people. I remember a couple of years ago, I realized as I was building this business, I was building it trying to use old tools, trying to use 9 to 5 tools.
Mhm. Doesn't
People,
work.
no, people calling all times a day, and I'm allowing that. And so finally I said, I'm not being very productive. And I had to set boundaries. So I have put on work modes, 9
Mhm.
to 12, when no one was able to access me. I'm telling you, I got so much pushback. Oh, well, you're not available anymore. What if something happens? But you got to be okay with setting out the framework that works for yourself. And
Exactly.
after a while, they got used to it. And
Yeah.
then I started breaking the rules. I started calling them, like,
Now you can't break your rules. But that's interesting because I do have boundaries that we do. We have a full blown studio, right?
Mhm.
And then we also have other things that we do. And I make it a point to have a cami day. I have to have a cami day. I'm sorry it's on the day that it's on, but it's the
Yeah.
only day that I can grasp for it. So my cami day is on Sundays. I might get up and go online and see my cousin who does his little ministry online, or I have two cousins actually that do their ministry online, and I rotate between the two.
Mhm.
But that's my day. That's my one day. I don't have to get up, get dressed. I don't have to put makeup on. I don't have to put the wig on. I don't have to do nothing. It's a Cammy day and a Dallas day. And Dallas is my little puppy who never get to see me. And
Yeah.
so it's a Cammy Dallas day. And I tried my best not to break my rules.
Mhm.
And I have people who come back and say, well, can we do Sunday? No, we can't do Sunday. That's my
Consistent.
one day that I get the opportunity to do what I need to do, for not only I'm still kind of working, but it's still I'm in my nightgown.
Yes.
It's that kind of working. It's that kind of day that I had to take for myself. Because if I don't get it, then I feel like I'm abused. I feel like the week just went
Yes.
2 miles longer. It's like, oh, I didn't have an off day. Just call me from work and ask me 2 or 3 questions. You just took my whole work day away. That's how I feel.
Yes. Because if we fail to take care of self, because that was, and I think you say, how do you stay motivated? And I said, the first thing is taking care of self.
Hmm.
I realized caring for my father. I remember a lot of people say, how's your dad? And I said, and not to take anything away from dad, I said, dad is as good as I am.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
True that. Because if we aren't whole as whole can be, then there is no way for us to even achieve
Hmm.
much, stay motivated.
Mhm.
And so the first step, I think, is always being honest with yourself. Like,
Yeah.
where are you mentally? Like, do you need to check out? Where are you emotionally? Where are you physically? Where are you spiritually? And that's some of the key questions that I ask my clients initially. I want to go back to something that you said. How do you know if the client is your ideal client?
Mhm.
I have a meet and greet with all of my clients,
Okay.
all of them, virtually if they're unable to be here, because a lot of my clients are virtual, or in person if they're in South Carolina when I go back.
Mhm.
And sometimes at the end of that,
Yeah.
that's not going to
That
be a good match.
we don't click. Yeah. I got you.
So that's what I initially do, and they may feel the same way. And then I ask them after the 30 minutes. I give everybody a 3 30 minutes. That's an initial meet and greet. And then after that, I said, how you feel? And I said, look, please be honest, because if we're working together and we're not feeling each other now, it's a relationship. Maybe if it's a dating
Right.
kind of thing, a
Right.
man woman, you can maybe feel me for the next 20 minutes or next 2 weeks, but we're going to be working together about your life goals. So that
Mhm.
is how I initially kind of determined. And then even at that, sometimes you get into it and you realize,
Nah, didn't work out.
mhm.
Not what
I,
I expected.
right. And I just wanted, in that point, I had a client that I did a meet and greet, and she gave me a lot about her past. Well, we all have a past. And I failed to take into account how much that would hinder her progress.
Mhm.
She was my first client. I'm like, I'm a coach. I know I got this. I done been through life. I'm a coach to health.
Yes.
Whew. 4 months into it, we hit a brick wall. And I started to wonder, like, am I really supposed to be a coach? And then I realized that what she needed was beyond me.
Right.
And for me to be an effective coach, and it's not always me providing. Sometimes it's me passing along
Mhm.
information or sending
Mhm.
them somewhere else or suggesting that they go somewhere else. And she had sexual trauma in her life. And we were coming a wall because she had never dealt with that. And I said, hey, I'd like you to get sexual trauma therapy.
Mhm. That's good.
Game changer. And
Yeah.
do you know she had been through like 20, maybe 10 other therapists, life coaches. I think I was her first life coach, therapists, counselors, voodoo doctor. I mean, she went through the whole gamut. Not one had ever suggested she go
That's
to sexual trauma.
yeah. Wow. Game changer.
And it's about listening, being
Yes.
in tune to who you're with, who you're meant to partner with or coach with at that time.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thank God for my support system, because if
Yes.
I didn't have it, I would be like probably the lady you just talked about,
Mhm.
because I know I have to bounce and talk to my support system.
Yes.
And they know, it's just I'm an honest person. I'm upfront, and they're same way with me. Stop bringing work home.
Yes.
They get on me and they tell me, well, I wouldn't do it that way, or think about it this way. And so I have that system, and I know I recognize it.
Mhm.
Sometimes people don't recognize what they have, but I
Mm.
do, and I'm grateful for what I
Mhm.
have. And so I thank God for that every day, because
Yes.
I'm in a whole different state, away from my family. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so to have the extended family around and there for me, it's amazing. You
Yes.
can't buy that kind of love and wealth, right?
No, you
And
can't.
so, no, you can't. And so I'm grateful for that. But, it's a lot of people. And that's why I'm grateful for you doing what you do, because there's a lot of people
Mm,
who are thinking about driving off that bridge,
mm,
who, work is so bad that,
mhm,
I just want to die right now, just get me off of this hamster wheel. So, people that can come and talk to a lady or a person or a coach like yourself, they need you. They need you.
I
This is,
think so.
yeah.
I do. And I always knew that my life would never be in vain. I say I would be doggone, because I said another word, but I would
Yeah.
be doggone if I would go through all of that and let my life be in vain and fail to share any of that with anybody. It's
Mhm.
like I hold all this and I've been through it. It just seems shame on you. Woe to you, Rana.
Right.
Seriously, that is the way I feel, to hear people suffer and to know that you've been through, if not a similar situation, but you've been through suffering, and you sit there and you like, and you say to yourself, I hope they get through it. Well, if that were me, I'd do to you. And you keep your mouth shut.
Mhm. That's
Like,
that's
woe
worse.
to you.
Yes.
Woe to
Shame on
you.
you. Yeah.
Shame on you. And I had to even pop myself in the mouth because yes, and that's the things too that drive me. And life stories. I mean, just life and just knowing what I've come through, knowing that I never deemed myself as a victim. I
Yeah.
always knew that I'd come through. I always knew. I never said like, woe was me, because some of it was my choices. You
Mhm.
know, we get into
Mhm.
relationships and they turn sideways. And I'm not trying to point the finger. If when we talk about relationships and coaching, I always say, you know, we have an accountability in it somewhere.
Mhm.
And if we lack to identify our accountability, see, there he is.
There's that. I
He's 93.
did. Well, he didn't look like he was
And
93.
he doesn't act like he's 93 either. Um, and if we fail to say you, and we never find ourselves in it, then I think we lack the ability to really heal through it.
Mhm.
You know, it's always someone else. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
enjoy what I do and I feel very purpose to do it. I believe that God has given me favor in this
mhm.
space. I know that it will grow, and then sometimes it's like growth is not always identified in numbers and dollars. So that would be nice as well. I just realized that my life is transitioning, and
Mhm.
as I transition, the people that I touch are going to be different because they're going to be in different spaces as I'm maneuvering in different spaces. Um, Yet the methodology is still the same. If you
Yeah.
want to achieve something, you have to change something first, and you have to identify what mindset, behavior, or habit has to change in order
Mhm.
for you to do. So no matter who I'm with, who I'm coaching, that method is still the same.
The same.
It
Absolutely.
is. Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell people how to get in contact with you.
Okay, you can go to my website. It's Rana Perry Life Coaching, and I'm going to spell that. That's RanaPeri lifecoaching.com. And my email address is ranaperrylc@gmail.com. And all of my contact information is on my website. So, yes, I give 30 minutes free. And that's just for a meet and greet. And it's not necessarily just to gauge if we're going to make a good match, it's still just to see where your head is at, so to
Yeah.
speak. And I have everyone to take that positive intelligence assessment before we meet. And that really helps them. That has been probably as much of a game changer as much as the CAD method has been. And
That's
so those are the methods to get into. And my handle on IG, of course, is Rana Perry, life coaching.
that's-
Yes.
love it. Love it.
Yes.
So at the end, words of wisdom. What type of words of wisdom can you give to someone who is going through these life crises and need help and don't know how to reach out for it?
Sit with yourself. Sit with yourself and journal. Sit with yourself and journal for about the first 24 hours. I always say that. Put everything that you're feeling, everything that you're thinking down on paper. Because as long as you sit with it in your head, it will stay in your head. And then be unafraid to reach out. Now, it would be so easy for me to give someone steps to say,
Mhm.
if you do this, then you do that, and then this will come. The very first thing I always tell people to do is sit 24 hours. Why? Because more than 24 hours, you sit with it too long and you go into dark places. And then take with what you've written and try to, if you have in your circle, somebody in your circle that you can reach out to, there's somebody. If there isn't, if you feel like you're in crisis, call a crisis line. Call a crisis line. Talk to someone. If you're afraid, if you're embarrassed, call, a crisis line. There's non judgmental. You don't know them, they don't know you.
Right.
and just be honest and just stop being afraid. I mean, just stop being afraid. And I think this is probably the most monumental thing.